Hello everybody, it's Dio here from Firm But Fair Gaming, bringing you another BellWright video. Today I am going to be your general in this winter wonderland, and we are going to be going over combat mechanics while commanding your companions or followers as part of your army. So first things first, how do we go about recruiting them to be our companions? So obviously this is covered pretty early in the game when we first get our first follower. You can just walk up to them and turn them to a companion. Or what I like to do is I'm just going to go to my population and just go one by one by one, whoever I want to bring with me. So let's just gather everybody. How many do we need? Bring everyone! So we're just going to gather them all up, turn them into this nice little contingent, this bodyguard. And okay, so we have everybody. So now we have everybody gathered. The attendance and roll call has been made. What we want to do is first we want them to get their weapons. So we're going to command them to interact with our weapon rack here. Everybody is going to come over and they're going to pick up the best weapons for themselves, and then they have everything. And then we want them to get food because we need them to have food while we're out and about. So now we're going to tell them to get food. Because if they are hungry and they run out of food, they will just leave you and go back to base. I noticed that I am also out of food, so let's get me some food. So I'm just picking up some stamina food. It still seems like some of them are unhappy, but that's fine. I'm going to also make them go interact with the food stores again, just because I know sometimes they don't always grab 3 parts of food. Let's see. See, he's only got 2, and I want him to have 3. So let's send them back. So I want to make sure they get 3 food. So I send them a couple times to the food stores to make sure that they get enough food. So they kind of line up, and as you can see, one guy grabs it. There they go. They're all grabbing it. And now everybody should be pretty good to go, and we are ready for fighting. So now that everybody is armed and fed, it is just as simple as rolling out. So for us, we are just going to roll out and look for a large bandit settlement and head out there and kill a bunch of bandits, gather up some supplies, and increase our stores to get some renown and have some fun. So let's go. So here we are. We have finally made the trek from our base to where we wanted to go. So our whole objective here is there's a bandit camp there that we want to take out. There are a few patrols around. So what I just wanted to touch on here before we start all this mayhem, especially if it's the first time that you're commanding your army, is because we have Pats here and it's actually going to be a pretty big fight, and we may not quite know what we're doing. I'm just avoiding that patrol because I don't feel like having combat right yet while I'm trying to do this. So we're just moving around them. But what I like to do just for practice purposes is I create a save. So I would go to my save game, and then I just have one here that I created for practice for combat. So this allows me, like if something goes horribly wrong, where we get ambushed by the patrols and we happen to lose as we're figuring this out, just make use of the load. And so we create this save here, which will let us have the ability to practice our commanding, going through our command, like going through the different commands we can actually do, as well as different strategies that we might want to employ while we go and try to besiege this camp. So that is just one quick tip that I wanted to provide before we get into it. So here we are with our followers. So we have brought 8 armed warriors with us, and they are currently just on follow. So some movement basics. Obviously we can just give them an order by pressing E and then clicking the button, and they will move there. And so at the bottom of the screen here we see that we have the 3 options of E for order, R for charging, Q for follow. So the charging you can alternate to holding, and so if we give a new order, they will hold there. Basically all this is doing is they will wait until they'll stand here until give a new order or until the enemy actually runs into them and engages. If they are set to charging, then they will, as soon as they see an enemy, they will move forward and engage with them. So this is just a couple simple actions that you can take with them, and if you press Q, then they just kind of follow you around. As they all talk at me at once there. To give you an idea of what they are like. I just want to eat another piece of food here. Here we have a couple guys. We're going to put them to holding and move them here and see how they react to a couple people. As you can see, they kind of just stand there and they're just holding the position. Even our archers aren't even... Oh, he is firing. Perfect. But you see, they kind of just stand in the line. And then if I change them to charging, see, they all moved right there. Unfortunately,
News from the kingdom? There's always
Lube
something.
here got beat the crap out of for that. But that's why you probably don't want them... I mean, not probably. You don't want them on holding, except for when you are moving them into position. So what I would do is I would say, like, move them, put them on holding, and then as soon as an enemy gets close, you just convert them to charging so that they would react and the backline would move. So here's another example as to why we would set them to charging. Here we have them set to charging, and they are just going to charge in and fight. Go, army, go. So they kind of split up. The archers will stand at range and shoot, and then the melee, the infantry, will just zerg. Like get shot in the back, see, and they kind of just have that zerg tactic. Now this archer, oh wow, he actually got me pretty good there. Then he will just get the circle beats. And now as we can see here, we have a couple wounded people, so I actually tried to bring some bandages with me, or loot them off the bandits, and then you would just walk over to your injured party member and top them up. I actually didn't bring enough bandages with me, because I've been messing around doing this for a little while, because our goal here is we're going to be fighting that big camp. But that's basically why I would use charging over holding. If I really wanted to, I could have kept them at the, like, put them over here on a holding pattern, and then the archers could have picked at them with bows before having them charge. But unfortunately, I think I only brought like 2 archers with me, and they had 1 as well, so they would have just sat there and hit our guys for free. For our actual tactics when we try to take on a settlement, because of the fact that you can't break your group into multiple squads or battalions, whatever you want to call it.
Backing down now.
They're very chatty. You kind of have to, you only have 1 set of orders. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them an order here to hold their ground, which will enable our archers, which I think I actually only brought 1 as I inspected them there, which is a poor plan on my part. I should have more archers, but we're going to make them hold position there. And then what that will let us do is they will, of course, fire as the enemy approaches, and hopefully pick a couple off before they then get too close, and then we'll convert them to charging, and then, you know, we hopefully will have a better numbers. I just want to pick these 2 guys off because I don't want reinforcements coming, so we're going to bring them back here just as an example. They're holding, but now you see the archer is actually firing, and we can just, this is kind of the strategy we're going to do. There we go, so we eliminated 2 there. That was perfect. I'm just seeing if they brought a bow for me. Highly unlikely, I don't think that happens. They brought some bandage, and then we're going to go into the camp here and draw them out. I was going to save the game, but I haven't saved previously. That's another thing that I recommend doing, is actually saving the game before you do this, like when you're first starting, so you can practice multiple times. We got another bandit back there that's going to be coming in. So, but by saving it, and depending on how the outcome goes, like the outcome could be good, could be bad. I knew that shot was going to miss, I just wanted their attention to draw them this way. That was a decent shot. Take out him. We're going to keep falling back to our buddies and get some archers shooting. And now they're going to charge. So that will keep our archer at the rear. They take a shot there. I actually don't know if we will win this, because I only brought 8 guys with me, and not as many archers as I would like. But by holding, you can see the arrows still coming in. We kind of provided a bit of a front line here, cutting them down. We just lost 1 guy. And there we go. We're actually, I mean, we're banged up a little bit, as I stabbed my own guy right there. Luckily there's no friendly fire. Oh, they have an archer. And now we're going to... Let's just hold here. Actually, no. Let's charge in. We're going to charge in and try to wrap this up. But that's kind of the strategy you want to do in order to... Because you got to have the multiple orders. That was bad on my part. And yeah, so we had the holding to make use of our archers, and then this is going to allow us to then, we kept them at bay while with our infantry and provided easy cover for our archers. They are doing the circle beats on this individual. We actually picked off a couple on the way in, and now we can walk into the camp and we have been victorious. So let's bring everybody forward and see how we did. So we've taken out this camp, had a nice little skirmish there. And let's see our final numbers. So we brought 8 with us. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 survivors. So that's actually pretty good. Oh, we have 7. So we only lost 1. Or nope, sorry, scratch that. We did lose 2. So maybe I brought 9.
There's always something.
Well, that's kind of how the combat works. That was a nice little exchange right there. So now that the fight is over, as you can see, my inventory is kind of full. So what we're actually going to do is the army is now going to become some pack mules. They are going to help carry things. So they are kind of beat up. Oh, there's still another body here. So let's bring them all over to me for some loot. And they can follow. There we go. Here they come. And are any of them wounded? They look like they healed up, so that's pretty good. So we can just have some bandages. But then we're just going to make them hold so they stop following me around. But then, you know, you just walk up to them, find out their inventory, and yeah, then we just start giving them stuff. He could have carried 1 more. And then when we go back to base...
News from the kingdom.
Oh,
There's always
interesting. New follower just showed up. My guess is they had died previously, or was that the beggar? Maybe he ran away, not sure. But anyways, one of them just happened to show up, so we're just going to give them some stuff to hold on to. I don't like giving them like actual cooked meat because I like having the meat. And as I say that, I'm short on food, so we'll get that topped up. And yeah, so because there's actually a lot of, I think we must have fought like close to 10 guys there. There are a lot of bags to loot, but that is one fun thing or convenient thing when you are traveling with your army. You can turn them into pack mules and you can stay out longer. They don't fast travel with you, so unfortunately, like if you did fast travel back, they would slow walk back, but I mean you could turn them back to workers, and then when they were done being workers, or when they're workers, they would go back and empty off their bags into the stashes. So we're actually going to loot that. What else did we gain here? Some fun stuff. Yeah, so that is one convenient fact, and that's how I make use of when I'm out traveling in the army, because I think quite a few of them are quite full, and because we've been bandit hunting for a little while, we actually have a lot of straps and other things to take back with us. And then, of course, if you notice on the left-hand side here, there is a warning that they're getting hungry, and if they are too hungry, they will disband, like go back to base to get food. So before we leave, that's why we made sure to fill them up on food. The last thing that I want to cover is when you are done with your army, if you don't want to manually run them back to base, you can just pull up you go talk to them individually if you want, but that can be quite slow. But then all you're doing is converting them from companion back to worker, and they will walk back to base. I like to do it by going to my population, and then I can see he's a companion, tell him to be a worker, and I just filter through until I find all my companions, and then I send them back to base. So the reason that we send them back to base is that they will follow you around endlessly as long as they have food. But the reason that I send them back to base is because they can't fast travel with me. So I plan to fast travel back to base to empty out my inventory, so they might as well start the early journey and rather than follow me around and then make the trek back. Because as you can see, I'd sent some back earlier. They're almost back to base. Unfortunately, they might die to the 2 wolves there, so that's just bad news for them. If they do fall in combat, they do have a chance at death, but it's more likely that they're just going to get wounded and then they will eventually wake up in town. So she's actually fighting, or he is actually fighting. So hopefully they win. And yeah, so now I'm back at town. Some of my other followers that I had with me had already made it back. You can see some of them are wounded from combat. So if you have bandages, you can heal them up, or they will heal over time. So this brings us to the end of the video. I have been Dio, your commander. I hope you have found this video quite helpful. As always, we appreciate any like, shares, and subscribe, so please click those buttons. And until next time, I mean, you can also find me on Twitch. It will be in the description of the video, so please come check me out there. Would appreciate that as well. And yeah, as always, we appreciate any like, shares, and subscribe, so please click those buttons. And of course, have fun in BellWright, and we will see you in the next video. Happy hunting, banditting, conquering, building, and all that fun stuff. Until next time, see you then.